Good morning, dear congregation. I'm glad to worship with you today. My name is Ayuk Fedinard Ayuk, and I was born in Cameroon. I'm married and blessed with two beautiful, smart children. Cameroon is going through a civil war presently, and that war has lasted for 6 years. On the 20th of October, 2017, I was driving home from a pharmacy. I went to buy drugs for my 6-month-old son. While going back home, a military truck was heading to stop a protest that was taking place in another part of town. The driver was drunk and he was driving on the wrong side of the road. So he hit my car on the driver's side, and I was rushed to the hospital. I spent 10 days in the hospital. After being discharged from the hospital, I was arrested and locked up in the military barracks. That issue continued, and they accused me of being a separatist, which is not true. We are English-speaking Cameroonians, and all we want is fairness in every thing that is going on in the country. The country is both French and English. We are 20% of the population. So they say I'm a separatist. It's not true. They fake up a case and brought it to the military court and asked me to stand trial. I stayed there and attended this case. And they came to my house, beat us up, and asked us to sleep on the floor with our face on the ground. And honestly, that was when I knew that I'm gone, because when someone asks you to put your face on the ground, you know nothing, and everything happens behind your head, and anything can happen to you. I still feel that fright up to today. The military court later on issued a warrant of arrest for me, and I was afraid because that arrest was to carry me to Yaoundé to stand trial in front of the military tribunal. I have no resources to back up myself for that, so I have to leave Cameroon. So I left Cameroon, and when I was going to Singapore, because Cameroonians required no visa to go to Singapore. So on my way to Singapore, I met a man, his name is David Book. He noticed I was worried in the plane, and I was worried and confused because I'm leaving behind a family and a community, a 5-week-old daughter and a 1-year, 6-month son. That was so painful, and a wife who knows nowhere to go and little or not knows no one to talk to. We have been very tight as a family. So David spoke to me and said, I'll help you in Singapore. After we spoke for a while, he understood why I was quiet. While in Singapore, David helped me for 11 days in Singapore, and he was very kind. He was just the only person I knew in Singapore, and he was a community, a one-man community. He introduced me to so many people and to churches which I attended service with him. He was a missionary too. And I stayed with David in Singapore for 11 days. Singapore was expensive, so he made arrangements for me to move to Philippines, where life is a little bit better in terms of cost. So while I moved over to Philippines, I stayed there with a family, 14 people in one house, very good people. They welcomed me with open hearts. And I lived with them, amongst them like one of them. We shared things together, do things together, laugh together, and it was so much that I still remember them inside my heart each time I have to talk. I could not stay in Philippines because I had just 1 month visa to be in Philippines. And I've been with this family, the Billems family, for 26 days. The visa was about to expire. I need to look for somewhere else to go. That was how I left Philippines to Ecuador. Ecuador is also a visa-free country for Cameroon. No visa is required. So I landed in Ecuador on the 31st of December 2018. I met another group of people. It was a family and a community. They were all from Venezuela, and they were facing the same situation that I was also facing in Cameroon. So we have a lot in common to talk about. And they were coming to America to seek asylum. So I joined them, and we walked through all the countries in South America. And we spent 9 days in the Panama forest, the deadly forest. This was hard, but as a community, things were much easier because we could support each other inside the forest. These are people I've never met before, but they took me in and comforted me. When we got to Nicaragua, that was where we separated. They had to stay back because they were sick and the resources they had could not carry them forward. And I had to join another group which was a mix of other nationalities, and they welcomed me right inside their midst, and I worked with them right up to Mexico. When we got to Mexico, that was when we were separated into different cells at the Mexico Immigration Center. I spent 10 days in detention at Mexico, and then I was released. I met another community with whom there were so many people again. All these people were from different countries, and the support was remarkable. And I followed them right up to the US border, where I asked for help at the border, explaining what had happened to me and pleading for an asylum. So they took me in at the US border and kept me at the detention center at the border for 7 days. Then I was transferred to Tacoma, Washington, in shackles. At Tacoma, Washington, I spent 2 months in detention. And then Kim Hunter and John Dunham. Kim is an advocate lawyer for immigration. John is my host. He opted to host me in his house in Minnesota. They secured my release from detention and brought me over to Minnesota. So when I got to John's house, he was already housing another immigrant from Ethiopia, Haile. He had been with him for 2 years. When I came in, together we have been with John now. Haile 4, me 2. I needed a place to worship. I'm a Presbyterian. I was born in the church. I work for the church. And when I said I'm a Presbyterian, he quickly connected that. Remember, he had friends who were from our church, Johnny McDonough and Ray Kassenberg. Ray and Johnny are members of our congregation, and they brought me to Westminster. And behold, this has been a full experience for me now, because there are things that we have talked about, and it comes now to light, what I have known before. So that is the story that took me out of Cameroon to this marvelous journey to be with the community. I have some few things to read. It will not take us time. There's a miracle in every trouble or distress. For me, that miracle is a beloved community. A beloved community. Togetherness is essential for our survival. God made it so. Love begins when we open our doors and our hearts to accept each other and comfort their pain. The call of our existence is to belong. Immigrants like myself are members of multiple communities. We are among you as family members. not lost, but found in the body of Christ. I am happy to be alive and hold hands in church. Receive your prayers and blessings. I pray we remain steadfast in our stewardship. Hold one another in prayers while inviting others to join the body of Christ, a beloved community. An African proverb energized me all along this journey. It goes, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk with others. Walk with me, I with you. Together, let us build a city of peace inside one another. I love you. I wish you great moments of good joy and peace as you continue to provide help and companionship to strangers. Thank you, and God bless you.